There are mornings when you wake up already tired, not from work, from yourself, from the small promises you keep breaking, from the decisions you've postponed for too long, from the noise that makes everything seem urgent, except what really matters. And somewhere between coffee and the first notification, you catch a quiet thought. I didn't want my life to feel this rushed. If that sounds familiar, don't scroll away. Stay here for a moment, because maybe you don't need more motivation. Maybe you just need direction. Something that doesn't depend on mood or approval or how good the day looks. Something that stays steady when everything else wobbles. Take a moment. And when you watch this video all the way through, don't skip the small exercise at the end. It's simple, but it matters. Because that's where the shift begins, quietly, inside you. You'll see that clarity is stronger than motivation, that calm isn't weakness, it's a kind of strength. And maybe by the end, you'll write your own 7 lines and realize you've stopped looking for answers out there because they've been in your hands all along. I remember that morning as if it were yesterday. The rain was falling over the quiet suburbs, that kind of slow silver rain that doesn't rush anywhere. It just lingers, whispering to the rooftops, as if the sky itself is deep in thought. My coffee sat on the table, still too hot to drink. The air smelled like wet pavement and fresh starts. And my phone, it wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages, reminders, people waiting for answers I wasn't ready to give. That morning, I had one of those choices. You know the kind I mean. The ones that seem to hold your whole future in them. 2 options, both wrong in different ways. No clear path, just pressure. And 60 seconds before my meeting began, I felt that familiar storm inside my head. Thoughts racing, heart pounding, motivation nowhere to be found. And then, for reasons I can't quite explain, I reached for my notebook. Not the digital one, the old one. The one I call my North Star Notes. Page 1, 7 short lines, 5 always, 2 never. I read them once, slowly, out loud. And in that small moment, something shifted. The noise went quiet. The tension faded like mist. The decision, that impossible, tangled choice, suddenly felt simple. No drama, no guessing, no motivational pep talk. Just calm, honest clarity. That morning, standing by the window with rain tapping softly on the glass, I realized something powerful. Motivation is unreliable. It's like the weather. It comes and goes. And if you build your life around it, you'll never leave the house. But principles, the ones you choose, write down, and live by, they don't fade. They don't need to be chased. They become your compass when the map burns. There was a time I thought I needed motivation every morning. I'd hunt for it. Podcasts, quotes, coffee, self-talk, anything to push myself into action. But one day, I understood. Chasing motivation is like chasing sunlight with a flashlight. You don't need more light. You need direction. That's what my North Star Notes gave me. They weren't goals, they weren't dreams. They were promises, quiet, personal, unbreakable. Every time I've lost my way, it wasn't because I didn't know what I wanted. It was because I forgot what I stood for. So I built a tiny list,
Not for the world, not for applause, just for me. Rules that whisper instead of shout. Guidelines that speak up when my emotions try to take the wheel. And when people ask me, why write them down? Why not just remember? I smile and say, because when emotions rise, memory fails. When the storm hits, even the strongest swimmer forgets how to breathe. Writing is how you anchor the ship before the wind comes. And that's why, today, I want to give you something small, simple, and real. Something you can do right now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Take a piece of paper, or your phone, or the back of an old receipt. Write your 5 always and 2 never. Don't make them fancy. Make them true. 5 things you'll always do, even when no one's watching. 2 things you'll never compromise, even when it costs you. Not be perfect, not never fail. Something alive. Something you can practice tomorrow morning. Like, always tell the truth fast. Always finish what I start. Never promise what I can't deliver. Never raise my voice when I'm tired. Keep it simple. Keep it human.
When I first showed that list to my startup team, I expected laughter. You know, the kind of polite smirk people give when the boss starts talking about values. It was a Monday morning. Everyone looked exhausted. Caffeine, deadlines, anxiety blending into one tired blur. I felt it too. The tension in the room was thick enough to taste. So I did something unusual. I didn't start with numbers or updates or strategy. I opened my laptop, projected 1 slide, and there it was. 7 lines. My North Star notes. No title, no explanation. Just 7 simple rules. The room went silent. You could hear someone's pen drop. No corporate speech, no HR poster, no team-building exercise. Just a few words I actually lived by. A minute later, one of the engineers raised her hand and said, "Can we do that too?" And by Wednesday, half the team had written their own lists. They weren't polished, some were messy, some funny, but they were real. And that week, for the first time in months, we didn't have shouting matches. We didn't have late-night blame calls. Decisions got faster. Communication got cleaner. People started taking ownership, not because I told them to, but because they wanted to. And I realized something new that day. Clarity is contagious. You see, there's a strange paradox in life. The more rules you live by, the freer you feel. It sounds backward, doesn't it? We think freedom means doing whatever we want. But that's not freedom. That's noise. A river without banks doesn't flow. It floods. Your principles are those banks. They shape your flow. They give you rhythm, direction, strength. Your North Star notes don't limit you. They free you from the endless pressure of choosing between right and wrong every single day. Because once you've decided you're always and never, the rest becomes easy. And here's the truth. I didn't invent this idea. Andrew Carnegie, the man who shaped much of how I think, once told me every success begins with a clearly defined goal. But that goal means nothing unless it's built on principles you'll never trade away. He also said something I never forgot. Every person is born with 2 sealed gifts, strong health and peace of mind. But both disappear if one neglects the power of choice. That's what those little rules are, pre-made choices. You decide them once, and they decide for you 1,000 times. And that's the beauty of it. No more overthinking, no more emotional roulette, just a steady hand guiding the wheel. A few months later, I saw that power again, this time not in a boardroom, but in my kitchen. My wife and I were sitting at the table, papers everywhere, bills, receipts, frustration building. You know that kind of quiet tension when both people think they're right? Voices low but sharp, silence heavier than words. And then between us, I noticed that same notebook lying there, the one with my always and never. I flipped it open without thinking. One line stared back at me. Always discuss big expenses before acting. We both paused, looked at it. And just like that, the argument ended. We didn't need to win, we just needed to remember. That's what these notes do. They protect relationships from the chaos of emotion. They remind you, this isn't about being right, it's about staying true. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a decision you were truly proud of? Not just relieved it was over, but proud a week later. Think about it. If it's been a while, maybe it's not because you lack courage. Maybe it's because you lack clarity. Every confident person I've ever met, truly confident, not loud or showy, but quietly grounded, they all have something in common. Somewhere in their life, there's a list. Maybe it's written down, maybe it's just carried in their heart, but it's there, the compass that says, this I do, this I don't. One of my own always says, always start the day with a choice, not a reaction. That means no phone first, no email, no news, no noise, just a quiet question to myself, what kind of man do I want to be today? That's it. 5 minutes of stillness, but those 5 minutes, they shape the next 16 hours. Because clarity in the morning saves you from chaos at noon. I remember a young manager once asking me, what if I make bad rules? I smiled and said, then you rewrite them. You see, these North Star notes aren't carved in stone, they're carved in practice. You test them, you refine them, you live with them until they fit you like a well-worn jacket. The goal isn't perfection, it's direction. You can't steer a parked car. And here's a little secret I don't often share. Most of my North Star notes were born out of regret. They didn't start as wisdom, they started as mistakes. Moments I wish I'd handled better, conversations I wish I'd ended sooner, promises I wish I'd kept. That's where real learning hides, not in success stories, but in our quiet, I should've moments. If your life feels full of those, congratulations, you're sitting on a gold mine of future rules. Write them down. Turn regret into guidance. Turn mistakes into a compass. Sometimes people come to me and say, Dale, I can't seem to find my purpose. And I tell them, you don't find purpose. You define principles, and purpose grows from them. See, meaning doesn't appear in big cinematic moments. It grows quietly, from consistency, from keeping your promises when no one's clapping, from saying no to what doesn't fit your values, even when it's shiny and loud. Let's bring this back to you. You've written your 5 always and 2 never. Maybe rough, maybe imperfect. Now it's time to test them against reality. Ask yourself, could I live by these tomorrow, without motivation, without applause? If not, simplify. If yes, make them visible. Tape them to your mirror, stick them on your fridge, set them as your phone background, and each night before bed, read them once. You don't even have to analyze them. Just remind your mind. After a week, you'll start noticing subtle changes. Decisions will feel lighter. You'll argue less. You'll hesitate less. You'll feel steadier. Because clarity doesn't give you new energy, it frees the energy you already have. I saw that truth unfold right in front of me when my team began to live by their own notes. The first week, everyone's lists sounded noble, polished, Instagram-worthy. Things like, always be kind, never give up. Beautiful words, but too vague to live by. By the second week, something changed. People started crossing out the lofty lines and writing what actually mattered in their daily lives. Always be 5 minutes early. Always say no when my calendar is full. Never send an email angry. Never skip Sunday dinner with family. That's when real transformation began, because values only become power when they're small enough to live every day. It wasn't about pretending to be perfect anymore. It was about being present, being honest, being real. And suddenly, meetings felt lighter. Deadlines didn't crush us, they guided us. It wasn't motivation that fueled the team, it was rhythm. And that's when I realized something profound. The reason we chase motivation is because we want to feel alive. But life isn't a feeling, it's a rhythm. Principles create rhythm. They turn chaos into cadence. They turn guilt into growth. They turn I should into I do. And the best part? They never need charging, Wi-Fi, or applause. If you want to test the strength of your North Star notes, here's a small challenge for the coming week. Apply one rule per day. Every morning, choose one line from your list, just one, and live by it for that day. Don't post it, don't announce it, don't make it a campaign, just live it quietly. See how it changes your tone, your choices, your sense of peace. By the end of 7 days, something subtle will happen. You'll stop chasing motivation and start moving with conviction. And conviction, my friend, outlasts emotion every single time. Now, before I close, let me share the 7 that have stayed with me, the ones that carried me through both storms and sunshine. Always listen longer than I want to. Always tell the truth fast. Always leave people better than I found them. Always finish what I start, or stop it fully. Always protect my mornings for thinking. Never trade respect for approval. Never make decisions, tired or hungry. They're not perfect, but they work every single day. And now it's your turn. Maybe tonight, when the house is quiet and the world slows down, you'll open a blank page. You'll write your own 5 always and 2 never. And maybe, in a few months, someone will ask how you make hard decisions look so easy, and you'll smile and say, I don't decide, my principles do. Because that's the secret of peace. Not endless motivation, but clear direction. Tomorrow may never come, but today is right here, waiting for you to live it.